where last we left off, I had just taken on a nasty spider. And also somehow managed to take down a serpent. And then I started building up some infrastructure and added some very basic automation to get some bituminous sand. Bituminous. And then with this automation, turning that bituminous sand into some special oil, flux infused oil. Today I need to take this oil, break it down into its base components, and we need to start adding even more infrastructure, with our ultimate goal to make it all the way down to producing Orichalcum, and then using this to summon Ymir. But along this journey, we are going to be taking out the Yeti and also taking on the furious Wroughtnaut. Now, the first thing on the to-do list is getting ourselves paraffin wax. To be able to make this, we're going to need ourselves a fractionating still and a blast chiller. Now, the fractionating still, this thing is not going to be all that difficult for us to produce. However, the blast chiller, well, this is going to give us a little bit of a problem. And that's because it requires some packed ice. And to get ice or packed ice, well, we need silk touch. Or do we? Because we should be able to produce base ice by using an ice charge from thermal series. And I believe that, well, some very specific mobs spawn in Jotunheim. And what mobs, you may be wondering? Well, some blizz. All we have to do is make our way over to where one exists, which I did see on the map. Right there. And we've got to take this guy on. I think I may be able to get into this thing's range. Yes. And start taking it out. Yes. And I think there's a chance. These do spawn at night, by the way. It was night whenever I was checking to see if they spawn here. But they spawn on mountains. And so they also spawn at night. So I don't think any more is going to spawn. But I think there's just a chance for it to drop one of its cores. Okay, so once it's nighttime, I'll head back over there, but this is something we need to get done. So I do want to put in my fractionating still and get this thing up and running and get it powered, because we need to start processing buckets of this, well, flux infused oil. So I'm just going to place this in here for now, and this should start splitting this up into two different types of fluids. And we're going to need quite a bit of this because paraffin wax, we only get 50 millibuckets of it from 100 millibuckets of this process. So an entire bucket should only lend us 500 millibuckets total. So we need 2 buckets in order to make 1 wax. Thankfully though, I do have about 12 buckets over here. So that's 2, 3, 4. I don't know how much this holds, so not a whole lot. We can upgrade this, however. To do that, I can put it in a hardened integral component, and this gives us a bit more buffer room. So that way I can pull out a few more buckets and have at least 3 sets worth going on right now. Back to Jotunheim. I'm going to be out here just hunting for these blizz. And let's see, there is one right over here somewhere, or at least the map showed there was one. And perfect. Okay, there's one down. And I think that was the only one we needed to down, because this time we got the drop. Now with the Blizz Cube, we can turn it into Blitz Powder. And then with that Blizz Powder, we can turn it into ice charges. Then with our water bucket, well, we can combine this to make ice. And then it's just a matter of using our matter conversion to make more ice. A little tip, by the way, you can actually pin certain things to the wall by hitting P. This is actually added via Draconic Evolution. So I've got a couple of EMCable items that I want to make sure that I always have. And so keeping them out of the storage is sometimes good, especially if you're crafting with them a lot, so you don't accidentally overuse or overextend all of your items. Now I can make myself a blast chiller. Perfect. So if I place this next door, I think what we can do is go to configuration, set this to automatically input items. And so that should pull from this side so long as I have this set to an output and set it to auto output. Then the paraffin wax should make its way over here. And that is going to slowly start freezing and turning into balls. Boy, is this process slow without upgrades. But it being slow is honestly fine because we have several other things that we have to worry about before that is finished. For getting a little bit of paraffin wax, we need to work on producing lubricant. But for this, we're going to need an advanced refinery. And this advanced refinery, while also requiring paraffin wax, is going to require well, twinite. And while the first recipe you may see includes, well, blaze rods, which we can't get at the moment, there is another way, and that is by looking at the Twinite dust. All of this stuff is actually obtainable, and the ability for us to get blaze powder, well, we just need some magma cream, which we currently have, and we'll be able to break this down in the centrifugal separator, and this is going to break it down into 2 different components for us. It's going to turn it into slime balls and blaze powder. And while magma cream doesn't have an EMC value, magma blocks do, and I believe that we can use something like a pulverizer or something to be able to break it down. Yes, a multi-servo press can break this down into magma cream. And well, I kind of already want to set up some multi-servo presses, and so I think this will be a great place for them. We're just going to place them right on top of each other, and I do have 2 for now. One for making sheets, which we're going to need, and then the other for making, well, cogs, or gears, technically. So with our presses, we can put something like 2 Constantine ingots in here, and then I'm going to put 6 in here. These are going to make sheets, so we don't have to use tinkers anymore for this, and makes automation a little bit easier. And this is primarily because of the dyes. Like, we can make gear dyes, so now whenever we give this its base material, it's going to produce like gears, for example. And with this unpacking dye that we can put in this one up here, we can start to break down our magma cream. So we do have magma blocks, which, like I said, are EMCable. And so we can just start producing magma cream right here, which we can break down into more blaze powder if we need. So now let's take out our paraffin wax, which is now done. And in doing so, we actually get given some reinforced integral components, which is going to be quite nice. I actually am just going to upgrade these machines for now. And as I mentioned before, we can take a set of materials and we can divide it up by 4, for example, like this, or however I plan on doing it. I can just take 16 for now. And by placing this in here, it's going to start using up our materials to make the gears. Now, the machine that we're probably going to need is going to be a pulverizer, and this is so that way we can break down obsidian. So I can just place some obsidian in here, and this is going to get it crushed down, so we have all of the ingredients for our twinite. We also need to get tin this way. And with this, perfect. We now have ourselves some twinite, at least for now. And I just need to place this inside the induction smelter to get this smelted up. With that twinite ready to go, it is now time for us to make the advanced refinery. This bad boy right here. And we can just plop that here for now. The advanced refinery is going to be a little bit more effective on this. So 2 buckets inside of here of this material should also still produce the same amount of paraffin wax, but now it's also going to produce lubricant. And you can see that here we get ourselves 100 millibuckets of lubricant and 50 of wax for every 200, I believe, millibuckets of the oil. And maybe that's a little bit less on the paraffin wax than the fractionating still, but we actually get lubricant from this and also paraffin wax. I think the other one was 50 for 100. Either way, as of right now, our goal is to get to the lubricant. The reason we need to get to the lubricant is because our ultimate goal is to make the Orichalcum ingot, which is going to be required to summon Ymir. And there's also several other components in here we technically should be working towards, but the lubricant is going to be required for this to even process, so we do need at least a bucket worth. And not to mention, this is going to require a component assembler, which is going to require some more paraffin wax, which is why I made at least 3. And then we also need twinite gears, meaning that we are going to need 8 total twinite to make this machine. From those 2 buckets that I just processed up, which I'm going to go ahead and throw some more in, I can now pull out lubricant, or at least I should be able to pull out lubricant from the slot. But I think we have to send this into some sort of tank. And probably the earliest tank we can make is one from Ender.io. So I'm going to set this aside, and then we have our outputs, and we want to make sure that our auto output is going to go ahead and send. I just don't know what fluid it's going to try and send into this tank. So it looks like this one sent naphtha. So I placed in a new tank, and this one gave also naphtha. Oh boy. It does look like we can use these as buckets, however. So there we pulled out paraffin wax. And so if there's nothing else for us to pull out, we should be able to pull out outside of paraffin wax. There we go. We pulled out the lubricant. So now we have a container for each, and I can use my bucket to pull this out and complete our quest, which also grants us a reinforced integral component. Now back to the production of the Oricalcum itself. We are going to need lumium, we're going to need some energized steel, which we've already produced, stellarite ingots, hollowed gold, and also vibrant alloy. Now, making the Ender.io energetic alloy and also vibrant alloy, which is ultimately what we're going to need, we can do this all inside of the induction smelter, so we don't actually need the Ender.io machines, at least as of now. While that's working up, I could get the spirit infusion done for the hollowed ingot. So with our spirits in, we can get this crafted up. With us gaining access to the hollowed gold, this opens up another incredibly powerful part of Malum. The ability for us to make a runic workbench, allowing us to make runes, and we can also wear a brooch that'll give us rune slots. Now, I don't want to pass this up. I'm going to craft now the runic workbench in the middle of working on all of this. And perfect, the runic workbench. I also now need to craft up the blank rune tablets, these things right here. And I still just can't get over how cool of an animation Malum is. Now, the first rune I want to make on the runic workbench is going to be the rune of dexterity. So we should be able to place the rune in, and this requires 16 ethereal spirits. And by clicking that, it produces the rune of dexterity. And then doing the exact same for the rune of reinforcement, all I have to do is place the tablet down and click that, and we get +6 soul word capacity with a 25% soul word integrity, which sounds amazing. Now I just need to make the runic brooch. Now this is going to remove one of our ring slots and is quite expensive, requiring a bunch of this hallowed gold, which is not the cheapest thing to make. And there we go. We now have that brooch. This one doesn't give us any negative effects, and it should go into the brooch slot, which I'm actually unsure where that is in here. Ah, it's the bottom down here. So that is going to take up that slot, removing a single ring slot, but giving us 2 individual rune slots. Oh, that's so powerful. Now, before things start to get too crazy, if I do go into my options and I do go into accessibility settings, I can actually remove distortion effects. And this is usually a good thing to do, so that way every time we get like a speed and modifiers and things like that, it's not going to affect our FOV, which can make you motion sick. Also, by the way, in completing these tasks over here, we are also getting more magic skill points. You know what? Since they gave us another tablet for free, let's go ahead and imbue this and get the Rune of Culling, which gives us 20% magic proficiency and also 20% spell power. And I really hope that this affects our overall spell power from all of our mods. And I know I only have 2 slots here, but we do have a curio slot that we could use, much like we're using for our gilded belt. Oh, and it definitely affects it. Notice this says 7 damage right here, but whenever I put this on, we now have 8.34 damage, which means that 100% affects our iron spells and possibly is doing the same thing to affect our Ars magic. Now, all of our materials are already almost made. I think all we're going to need now is to get ourselves the stellite or shellite, the shellite, which we're going to need here. So I have myself my vibrant alloy. We'll throw this in, which I don't think that it requires multiple stages. It does require 2 shulker shells. And then after that, we can just simply make more of them. Yes, look how quickly too this gets made. Oh, that is beautiful. I think out of all of the base ingots, the only thing I have to make now is lumium, and that's pretty much all of the required metals that are going to be needed for Orichalcum. Before we go taking on a big boss, well, I think we should test out our powers on some smaller bosses. Before we start fighting anything, though, I think we need to conjure up a very special enchant. And that enchant is Mending. Giving us the ability to make mending would be Ender.io, and we do have all of the things required to make an enchanter. And to be able to make this, we just need a little bit of lapis and an experience rod and a little bit of XP, in which we do have everything for this. So we'll place this in here. We just need some lapis, not even a whole lot of lapis, just a little bit. We need to have a little bit of XP on us, and this is not going to cost us that much. We definitely don't need to do that. It should be, I believe, 15. Is it going to cost us 21 levels? That seems like an awful lot for 1 mending book. Huh. I mean, it is totally worth it, though. I mean, we do have these solidified experiences, by the way, which does grant us a few levels here. I thought this, though, was... Yeah, no, it's 20. It is 21 levels. Oh boy, for each one. Thankfully, though, we do have all of these mobs around, graciously giving me their XP. This is going to make our Malum gear so much better. Just being able to apply mending to it. Oh, it's gonna be so nice. With my gear repaired, I'm feeling quite a bit more confident. So I think our first battle should be with Skor. Skor the Yeti, one of many fearsome beings that can be summoned via the summoning altar. And summon him in Jotunheim by offering 4 soul-infused dust and a diamantine crystal as a catalyst. Interesting. For us to be able to get a diamantine crystal, we need to drop a diamond in front of this and then give it some redstone signal. Okay, it looks like it can break dust in world. That's crazy. Soul-infused dust, by the way, is just some copper dust and soul sand dust, all of which we have, and I've already crafted it. Some other things I want to try, I did get an echoing strikes, which is very, very cool sounding. I believe it does like extra damage. But yes, this is an Ender spell, and then also Sunbeam, which we did find in, I believe, loot chests. So this is a level 3, which is a bit higher than our base spells, which I'm definitely going to try and use. The Echoing Strike sounds so cool, but I have no idea how this functions. Is it something like if I attack them, then they get hit again? Ah, that is kind of cool, but they get hit with 50% of the damage. Interesting. And for example, for the Sunbeam, oh boy. And I haven't even boosted my skill tree yet. Do you know what? I am going to do that. So I'm going to boost these trees. We almost have this entire tree filled out and get my extra range damage. And then I have 3 more points to spend, which, I mean, we could just put into extra scythe proficiency. For now, I have 1 extra point. I don't know if I want to use this for this, or I could just go with more scythe proficiency. All of this just sounds good. You know what? For now, I think I'm going to put this into extra blood from self-sacrificing. For my 4 points that I have available for magic, I'm going to try and get the regen node, and this should help with our mana regen. I mean, the goal is to get to the 10% one down here. Now we have 15 points to spend in the Jotunheim skill tree. Oh man. Well, one thing I definitely want to do is I want to get, I believe this will take me up to 64 on our increased ore mining. So now we should be able to expand that further. But man, this knockback resistance sounds really good, and the natural regeneration. I think I know what must be done here. I have to take this path all the way down and get ourselves a +1 to armor toughness. Take this path all the way down and get us a +1 to base armor. And we have 2 points left, which are just going to have to go into these 2 points of natural regeneration. Out of everything I see on here, this has to be some of the best things we can spec into. And even continuing on, getting these extra nodes of 5% knockback resistance, I think would feel so good, because there's nothing worse than getting hit with knockback. And now that I'm seeing all of these other things, I think I hit the wrong thing. So distortion effects, I think, do affect things. These are caused by nausea and things like that, which can give you motion sickness. And I think setting it to about 50% is good. But the FOV effects, that is the thing that I need to take all the way off, because that is what changes your FOV. And if you're FOV sensitive, like I am, that is going to be a nightmare. Back in Jotunheim, I need to find me a place that could be a good arena for this battle. And I'm thinking somewhere potentially on this ice would be a good spot. It's big, it's open, and I don't think we'll run into many issues other than us slipping around. So here's my thought. We lay down the summoning altar and we get ready to summon the boss. It is time for us to summon Skor. And I have no idea what to expect from this. Are we going to be well equipped for this battle? I guess we're going to find out. Oh, here he goes. Here he goes. Okay, we do have dash abilities. Okay, that didn't help much. Okay, we have the ability to roll, which is something that I'm trying to do, by the way. All right, let's switch to our spells. Oh yeah, and we can get out of the way, which is very nice. I wonder how many slashes I can get before. Okay, he does a punch. And I'm able to dodge. Oh, this is good. This is good. Ow. Okay, that's not good. Woo! I rolled out of that one somehow. Oh boy. All right. So, thankfully though, our shields are up. Something that I also don't have equipped is my boots, so that would probably help. Have an actual shield. Ouch. Okay, I am just going to start activating this. And let's also put that on. All right, so now every time I go after him, he should also get hit multiple times. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, health patch. Let's get our natural regeneration back. I don't know if even doing this is helping any. Oh no. Okay, I'm just gonna go in and try to brute force it. We are getting him though. Haha, yes. It just takes a minute to get directly to him. That hurt him a lot. I don't know what happened there. I'm frozen. Okay. All right. Time for him to get out of here. All right, we're up against that thing too. Ouch. All right, let's do this. My shielding is almost down. I'm just going for it. Just dealing the extra damage. Come on. You have nothing on me. And he's dead. Perfect. We just got to get rid of this spooter, who encased me, of course, in ice. Oh my goodness. That was a wild boss fight. Oh my. And is this just it now? It is just a statue. And we busted it. That is absolutely epic. On taking on the Yeti, we got ourselves a singular cobalt ingot. And I also got a Skor gauntlet. So apparently, on shift right click, it freezes targets, sneak right click, and it fires a wave of ice spikes. Interesting. Perform an ice slam when used as a shield. Oh, we can use it as a shield? That's so cool looking. Skor has now been defeated, and we get 6 skill points for doing this. That is so good. And we managed to get ourselves efficiency too. Their increased magic points, definitely going for both of these major 10% spell power nodes at the end, is going to be definitely worth doing. And then with our 1 extra point, probably going to spend it in the mana regen. And then for the Jotunheim, we definitely want that knockback resistance for sure. And then I want to spec into these 2 sections here for the extra 5% healing, and also on this side. With Skor conquered, it is now time to take on the furious Wroughtnaut. Legends tell of an underwater dungeon in this realm guarded by sturdy and unyielding furious Wroughtnaut. I'll need to collect and reinforce the sturdy metal his armor and weapons were made of if I wish to proceed. So now I must seek out this special location, and I think I know just the tool. That special tool is going to be an explorer's compass. Yes, we will have the ability for us to find structures and locations. Once this is crafted, we just simply need to follow the instructions to find out exactly where this is at. So activating our structure compass, we should be able to search for water dungeon, this specific one right here, in hopes that we have one nearby. So I finally found one, and this one is quite a ways away. Out here, the area is filled to the brim with serpents. I should really take them out, especially if there's a blue one. Oh boy. Yes, this is something interesting. This is not the one I need though. But I mean, I'm sure I could take this out. Yeah. They're not too bad whenever they're kind of beached. And this one also appears to be beached, which is a tiny one just right under the surface here. Definitely want to take it out. When I even managed to find, I think this is another blue one. Oh, if this is another blue one, this is going to be so nice because this will complete our set. We don't even need that much of it. I think this is a regular blue one. Oh, come on. He's right here. Just got to be able to get into this or have him come out in some way. All right, serpent. Here's an opening. Can you make it through? He's battling the dwellers over here. I definitely don't want him to get lost. I need to be able to lure him over here somehow. Perfect. Okay, I think we've got him. We've just got to get him beached. They're taking on the Deepling right now. This is not what I was expecting. This is good. Oh, he took him out. The Deepling took this out. That's all we needed, though. I got the scales, and I didn't even have to do it. We're going to have to see which armor is better, but man, now I have the serpent. I can actually make this gear. Also, by the way, this is another one of those buildings which may have some more loot in it. Okay, or just an entire conduit. There's just a full conduit in here. Okay. Compass is pointing right down here, so I'm going to drink one of my bottles of water breathing. And I'm going to start making my way down, which it should be down here somewhere. Oh, is it this building right here? Okay. Perfect. So long as I can find myself an entrance somewhere. Oh, this is just so gorgeous, though. Can I also dash? Oh, I can dash underwater. This has got to be the building. Oh boy, there is water everywhere, though. This might be difficult. Oh boy. So this is the guy. The Furious Wroughtnaut. Do I have to use an axe? He is kind of stuck in place at the moment. Okay. Okay, he's up and moving around. Oh, okay. He is definitely attacking. I've got to figure this out, though. Maybe the water is just a lot for him? Why is he not moving? Surely we can do something to him, right? He'll get to moving. He's attacking. What's happening right now? I have a feeling like the water that's in here is maybe causing some problems. Maybe eventually he'll be able to see me if he can get to me. He's just chilling. I think what I can do here is make the arena a little bit more fortified. So I'm going to start surrounding this outer area with some blocks. Thankfully, we can place blocks to hopefully allow the water to fall back in and allow this guy to potentially get out of the water, which it does not seem to like at the moment. Yeah, it is not liking water at all. Let's see, though. This guy should only... yes, only be attackable when he does this, in which we can hit him in the back. We also need to stay away from him, though. But yes, when he's immobilized by water, he's completely stranded. So we've just got to get him into a position where he's going to attack me. Otherwise, he just doesn't take any damage at all. Do the good one. I really love this boss, by the way. It's such a cool mechanic. Ow. Yeah, that hurts. Come on. You got it. There we go. Yes, and we hit him in his weak spot, which is his back. Come on. That movement speed increase definitely helped with this boss. And this should be the finishing blow. Goodbye. Beautiful. And we get granted his beautiful axe too, which has the ability to swing, and I believe also has the ability, it says when shift right clicks, to slam on the ground to create blocks to move up. Such a cool axe. On top of all of that, we also got the wrought iron ingots, which we do need in order to take on and summon Ymir. In completing this, we also get 6 Jotunheim skill points, another enchanted book, and even more magic, which is ultimately just going to prep us for this boss battle. Before I leave, though, I must collect any loot that we have. Look at that. We've got ice in here. Oh, we could have gotten ice this way, I guess. That would have been one of the ways to do this. Also, emeralds are in. That's fantastic. And some potions of healing, and some frozen bone. Now for our other Jotunheim skill points, I think for now we'll take extra draw speed and get our 10% ranged damage bonus. And then we still have 3 more points, so I think I'm going to hit the 2 higher tier range damages and then take the final knockback resistance. For the magic points, definitely going to take the big nodes of mana regen. Those big battles out of the way, there's still only one more thing left for us to do before we have to take on the big boss Ymir. And we do need to craft ourselves a component assembler in order to do this. So now that we have all of these base pieces with our component assembler, just like this, and we got to get a little power cable to this. We just need to fill this with a bucket of lubricant, toss in our hallowed gold, our shellite ingot, our vibrant alloy, our energized steel, and lumium. And I believe these are all of the ingredients needed. This taking just mere moments to craft, I now have Orichalcum, and that is all we need in order to summon Ymir. Well, almost everything. And that's because Ymir is actually going to need empowered diamantine crystals, which is going to require the actually additions in power, and we also will need a charged snowball. But that, my friends, will have to wait for another episode, because today we conquered machines and fought bosses, excelled through the power of semi-automation, increased our stats and abilities, got ourselves mending, and ultimately made this Orichalcum. Now, if you're looking forward to us moving into the next realms, then be sure to click that subscribe button so you don't miss out on future episodes like this. And if you're enjoying Vet's presence, be sure to also click that like button, especially if you learned something new. And well, with that, it's now time for me to thank the amazing supporter of today's episode. And that amazing thanks, well, that thanks is going to go out to Simplify. I think I said that right. Thank you so much for your amazing support and choosing to support me over on the Discord by becoming a Discord premium member and just supporting my content in one of the best ways possible. You're the reason this happens, and as always, thanks for watching.